who are listening, how many of you remember your senior year of high school? It seemed to have gone by pretty fast, right? Well, I can honestly tell you that me and my fellow classmates who are graduating this week could not feel like this semester would go by fast enough. For me, it's my second semester of my senior year, and I'm finally graduating. I sat through classes that I've loved and classes that I couldn't wait to leave. It seems that these classes that I've loved over the years have become so much more rare, and I've begun to realize I'm not alone in these feelings either. One by one, I've watched my fellow students fall into the same trap: senioritis. Well, maybe senioritis isn't what I should call it with it setting in junior year, but I used to love learning. No matter the subject, I could never get enough. In 4th grade, I could read any book I got my hands on, and now I struggle to sit down long enough to read one chapter of Huckleberry Finn. I sit at my lunch table every day as my fellow students say what we're all thinking. School no longer feels like that intriguing challenge we can't wait to take on. It now, for many students, feels like a chore. And for many seniors, we've sat through over 13 years of school, class after class blurring together. We feel like we've seen it all and we're pretty tired of it. This year I've heard so many of my fellow friends say that they are tired of learning or they don't want to be at school. They mostly say this when they're in an AP Stats class, AP Chem class. If it's just not their thing, that's usually when they're saying it. So I have a question for you. If a student is sitting in a bleak classroom in front of a teacher who's lecturing in a monotone voice over something they're not super interested in, how much are they really learning? I believe there are 2 things that educators can do to engage their students. Number 1, show that you care about your students and their future. The truth is that we're all people, and we all have our own things going on outside of the average school day, and it's easy to get caught up in it. According to an Indiana University high school study, 25% of students said that they felt like no adult in the building cared about them. Another 61% of students said that they just didn't like their teachers. I feel like there's a large miscommunication between teachers and students. Positive teacher-student relationships are key to gaining a student's interest. The teacher can then become a secure base for a student to explore themselves academically and socially. However, connecting with your students, especially in the older grades, can be hard. So how can you do that? Sometimes teachers are reluctant to give up time for content. With that time being so precious as it is, they can feel pressured to get through it as much as they can and leave out the personal part of teaching. I believe content must sometimes take a back seat in the classroom and should often be replaced with get to know your student activities or get to know your class activities. Whether it's just a journal prompt, asking how their day or weekend is going, it can make a student feel like you care about them and are interested in what's going on in their life. Number 2, show relevance to your student's future. One of the most popular questions I've heard my friends ask this year is, when am I going to use this in my life? It can be hard for a chemical engineer to find value in reading The Crucible or learning what dramatic irony is. This is when Pathways and CAPS programs come in handy. When you're using these programs, students can now map out their own education and take classes pertaining to their desired career. For example, I want to be a teacher. I love the idea of helping kids when I'm older. So now I'm enrolled in the teaching careers class at Four Rivers. I now get to learn all about being a teacher, and even though I'm not reading the classics, I'm still reading things pertaining to teaching and gaining the same skills as other kids in regular English classes. Students are more likely to put effort into something they care about, so make them care about it. Let them talk about what they like or research what they want to do, or do projects like that. Talk to your students and find out what they like and what they don't like. Get to know not only how they think, but how they act, learn, and work. Change school and make it something they've never seen before. It's the 21st century, and the world is changing right before our eyes, and education should be too. Don't let the students walk into your classroom every day and know exactly what's going on. Mix it up a bit. Whether it's a new challenge or a change of scenery, we would really enjoy that. We are bright, passionate, and unique in the future of this world. Keep us engaged and don't let us slip away. Thanks.